Welcome to Alumni Live, the podcast. These are conversations with Grand Valley State University film and video graduates about the industry, the film video major, and alumni profiles.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Michele Terpstra. I'm from the class of 1995 film and video. And today we have Sarah Ford from the class of 2018 and Callab, a Grand Rapids-based artist. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So they've shared directorial duties and filming duties on a music video featuring several local rap and musical artists, and it's called Citizen. We're going to show you the video here in just a minute. It's about 6 minutes long, and you're going to see several familiar faces and places and name dropping. It's a lot of fun. After the video, we will come back and talk to Callab and Sarah about the project. So here we go. All right. Well, here we are with Callab and Sarah Ford, who worked on the project. That was great. That's some real hometown pride there. So can you talk about how this all came together? There's a lot of artists involved with this. So how did you come together with, manage everything and shoot this all during a pandemic?
God, Sarah, and Lady Ace. Like, for real, it was a lot. I had the idea probably maybe 2 years ago. And I was just going through personal and family stuff, so I took a break. And recently, I wanted to get back into it. And I asked a few artists. A couple of them couldn't do it because of the pandemic or whatnot. And so the people that were on there made it, and we made it work.
So did the artists all write their own lyrics or their rhymes, or did you write those, or how did that happen?
Well, I wrote the hook and my verse, and no one else heard anyone else's verse until it was done. So they heard my verse and then the instrumental. And so from there, they all just wrote off of my verse, kind of gave them the concept. And that's how it happened.
So how did you and Sarah connect?
Because she is dope. I seen some of her work, and I was like, man, I think I was telling Lady Ace, like, I gotta know who this is. I gotta talk to her. I want to see, because it was amazing. And then I think this is our third, just doing something for the third time together, and it's just always been top notch. So
that's awesome.
That's that.
So first, let's talk a little bit about recording. What was the process like recording all of these artists?
Well, I was there for maybe a couple of them, but because of social distancing, I scheduled the appointment with 85 was here. That's the name of the producer, my producer. And he was able to work and fit people in because of him not working at the time. And so, 6 of the artists recorded with him, and the other 2, which will be Rebel Cusco and Jance, recorded with Replay, Ryan Payne. And so I kind of just told him I needed by this date. We were trying to stick to the schedule, and people sent it in, and we got it done.
So about the filming, you filmed some of it, and then the artist filmed some of it. Is that what happened? Can you talk a bit about that, Sarah?
Yeah, for the most part, because we were all separated and we were limited on some resources. And so Callab and I kind of just went head to head with some ideas and decided it would be a cool opportunity to let the artists themselves either record it, or Chabolino stepped in for a big part of it, as well as Callab, to film either on his phone or whatever camera they had to kind of match the quality benchmark that we had set.
What was this quality benchmark exactly? How did you tell people, this is what I want?
Yeah, so we had kind of brainstormed the idea of the end product that we were shooting for. I think that's something maybe you always start out with, even in pre-production. You kind of talk about, okay, what would we want it to look like? And we wanted it to have an old school feel. We're kind of like dipping back into the roots of people from Grand Rapids that have been well known, some of the newscasters even, some of the old rappers, some of the old places that people used to go to that are not the same establishments now. And we decided we were going to go with the old school film. So in that case, with recent times, everybody's got a phone that can film at least 24. And if they don't, Chabolino had his phone there to film that for us.
Nice.
So we kind of just set the benchmark. Hey, if you can do 24 frames per second at 1080p, at least, some of them are like 720, but a standard iPhone can film at least 1080p if you have one of the latest versions.
So did you run into technical hurdles then with people sending you footage that wasn't quite what you needed, and then you worked with it anyway?
I think it was pretty smooth sailing. I think the only technical issue that I ran into was aspect ratios. It had been kind of set with that benchmark to film horizontally, But then there were a lot of add-ins of B-roll that people shot, because that was also another thing that Callab reached out. Lady Ace reached out to her resources for all of that B-roll, those familiar faces that you see. Yeah. And they just, I think it's very easy when you have an iPhone to film vertically. And that was really the only hurdle I kind of had to jump over, where I had to just scale in like super big for those ones. But it still fit the look, which was very exciting for me, because it still gave it that grainy look. It still fit the whole feel of it. It wasn't something where I had to reach back out and bug these people during this time already and say, hey, we got to reshoot it. It just happened to just work.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Now, you edited in Premiere. You must have had just hundreds of pieces of footage. What was it like dealing with such a large number of clips? And is that something you're used to doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty used to taking a large sum of things and condensing them down. With any film editing, you might have 12 hours worth of footage for maybe a 2-minute commercial, or in this case, a 6-minute song. And reaching out to these artists, it was either they gave us one take, like one good take, to a maximum of maybe 5. So between Callab and the rest of the artists, I think Callab had maybe the most takes, because we were trying to show the most variation between each hook, because it's something that repeats over and over again throughout the song. So we wanted it to look the same, but also have several takes that we could cut back and forth from. So as far as the artist takes go, you kind of see what they gave me, which is really cool, because it just offers a bigger creative eye into those artists in like a different medium. They had their lyrics, they knew how they were going to present themselves, whether their demeanor or the way that they wanted to present themselves. But it was cool to see the way that they shot it after having the task of, hey, we're going to do this handheld, kind of do it yourself, which was cool.
So how did you achieve the grainy film look? Did you use plugins or overlays?
Those are plugins to just a subscription-based website that I use, and it's just a film grain look. A lot of them are older ones that I've used and just reused over and over again, depending on how I manipulated them. But this one ended up just being like a film grain look. We do have kind of that Super 8 feel, but again, when we first brainstormed this concept, we wanted to go for like the old school. Yes, we filmed on iPhones today, but we still wanted it to have the feel as if it was shot, 20, 30 years ago on some sort of camera. So that's why we have the Super 8 and that film grain look.
Yeah, it works really, really well. So Callab, does this match the vision that you had for this project?
Yes. Well, anything that didn't, me and Sarah just stayed in close contact. Like I literally probably watched the video 77 times, like 2 days before it was supposed to come out, just because I was just very meticulous about things, because I had been envisioning this for a few years. So basically when it came down, I know Sarah probably was like, I'm like, Sarah, can you take this? Sarah, can you do this? And she came through in the clutch, like always.
Oh, that's good. So what did you learn from making this project? Is there anything that you would have done differently now that you've been through the whole thing?
I would have got rid of quarantine and COVID.
Yeah, we all would.
Shot it regular. Other than that, it was lit. It was fun. It was even fun just seeing how people put their verses together, and then how people sent their clips in, and then to see how Sarah put it in and matched it with what we talked about. Like, it was so dope and just so good to finally see it come to life.
So what have you heard about the project? Like, what positive effects has this had?
Well, for a lot of us, it shows unity, that artists can work together, especially in a time like this with the BLM movement and everything going on. We were kind of on it before everything kind of broke loose. And so it just showed me that we can work together, we can get stuff done, whether we're in the studio together, whether we're recording it through Sarah or we're recording it. Like, it just showed teamwork.
And some serious project management skills. So do you have anything new in we have a question from Facebook here. Sarah, do you have a day job? Was this project something you did on the side, or because you were off due to COVID?
So I actually just freelance for a living, and luckily some of my main projects that I was working on was this, so we could keep it smooth sailing and consistent. And some of my other clients that I work for, they also were doing things that were consistent along the way. So it was a process of managing.
We're taking a short break to tell you about the Dirk Koning Memorial Film and Video Scholarship. Here's Gretchen Vintage remembering Dirk Koning.
The Koenig Scholarship enables students to get that kind of an education, to be a good filmmaker, to be able to express their voice, and to continue their dream.
For more information and to donate to the scholarship, visit the link in the description. Now back to the show.
Do you two have anything in the pipeline right now for the future?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we do.
Anything
Of
you can
course.
talk about, or is this top secret?
I literally want Sarah to shoot all my videos forever. So yeah, we got a video coming up. I'm planning on basically dropping a video every other month, and that's how my project will drop throughout the year, every other month. And my next project is titled Depression. It's just a song about depression because we all go through it. Everyone's been through it. Everyone knows somebody that's been through it. And I have a featured artist from Duval County, Florida on there. He's a really big artist, a burgeoning artist out that way on the project. So that'll be dope.
Okay, we have another question, it looks like here for Sarah. When you were at GVSU, what were you hoping to do for a job?
I think I've always just wanted to use the talents that I have for whatever God calls me to use them for. I've always kind of been spiritually based and just letting His will be done in my life. And yeah, I think freelance allows me the opportunity to really feed into the faith aspect, because freelance you don't have, apart from clients that you might have, like reoccurring clients or longer projects, you have to kind of really dive deep into that understanding of like, I don't have full control, and just seeing how it goes. But I knew that I wanted to try a lot of things. And I can tell you that since 2018, I've tried a lot of things. I've said yes to a lot of things. I think one of maybe my downfalls is I don't say no enough, but it's also allowed me to really be versatile with like my understanding of things, but also how my perspective is changing, because it's a very visual career to set yourself into.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another question coming in about syncing. With a music video, how do you get everybody synced up when they're in different locations?
I'm not sure if that's a question concerning the look of the video or more on the post-production side of things as far as syncing with audio. So
I'm gonna bet it's a post-production question.
Okay, yeah, so Premiere actually, real quick with that, they have added some updates that are so helpful, so efficient, and it's actually just called multi-camera editing. So you have one audio track, which in the case of a music video, you have one audio track, you line it up, and you sync it via audio of your video. And you just have them track together. They'll sync up themselves, and then you kind of weed through and edit as you go, which is cool.
It is.
It saves you a lot of time, because I mean, even when I started editing, 3-4 years ago in some of these programs, it wasn't that simple. You had to take it to a third-party plugin and then bring it back into your timeline.
Probably the Red Giant plugin.
Yeah.
The name of it is, I can't think of it at the moment, but if you've ever had to manually sync up audio and video together, it's a nightmare. And doing that much, I can't even imagine. So let's see, do we have any other questions out there? Is there anything that you two would like to mention that we haven't asked you about?
I just want to say thanks to Sarah and Lady Ace, because, oh my God, just the way the teamwork was crazy. And with everything going on, with the vision I had, this was something that was very important to me. And just thank you. It was amazing.
That's great.
Once again.
It's always been fun with this crew of people, though. That's the thing. Is I got connected with Lady Ace, and I got connected with this whole community. This was a perfect opportunity to work with each of them, but also bring them together for a common goal, which was cool. So I've done a lot of live event coverage of these artists, and they all have a different feel. But when they came together, somehow it was just like you said before, it really spoke into unity. They were able to just pull it off. Really cool.
I guess there is another question. Here it is for Sarah. Upon graduation, how did you network?
I think the easiest way that I have been able to network is either through social media, just reaching out to those that maybe inspire me, but also locally. I just talk a lot. I knew I wanted to try music out first, the music scene. Once you know someone, then they're asking, then the following week, once you put out a video of some sort. I find it that with video, you get yourself into pigeonholes, but at the same time, you can utilize that as a network opportunity. So when I went into music, obviously I was getting a lot of people hitting me up for music. And then to venture off of that, I would just reach out to local small businesses, healthcare providers, and then a fair share of just reaching out to people I knew that were already either on set or that had inspired me locally. I think just not being afraid right off the bat. You kind of have to build that self-confidence through just engaging, because the creative process looks different for everyone. Obviously, there are benchmarks that you can aim to hit, but unless you get yourself out into the field and actually experience that for yourself, you're not going to gain that self-confidence to continue the flow of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Callab, you said that you had seen Sarah's work before you contacted her. Where did you see her work? Was it just randomly on YouTube, or was it a project that you saw?
I think I was I'm not sure what show it was. I don't know if it was just a show or if it was the Jammies, or I think that she had done I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? Like a performance video for Lady Ace. And we were in the car and I seen she emailed her a clip of it and I was like, oh my God, like who is that? It was just crisp. It was different. It was creative. Like I didn't see that she was boxed in or it was any limits, and just that little clip. And I wanted to work with her after that for sure.
That's awesome. We've got another question here coming in. What advice do you have for young artists who are starting out? Which is a good question for both of you.
I'd say one, consistency. That's like the number one thing, consistency, because there's not always going to be someone who likes your music or likes what you do. And you have to know that everything is not for everybody. You make the music from your soul, how you feel, for your audience that you want. And you just basically got to go from your heart, go from your soul, and never give up. You got to keep going no matter what. And so it's just consistency is the thing. And the second thing is to understand that it's the music business, not just music. So depending on how far you're trying to go or what you're trying to do, you need to understand that there's certain things business-wise that you have to do to even be seen or get opportunities.
That is a very good point. And Sarah, what do you think on that topic?
Yeah, I personally was taught once I turned film into like a career that it was going to be cutthroat, and that's a little intimidating. So I think, again, just as Callab was saying, that consistency to know that the creative process, especially with any medium, it's a form of self-expression. So if you're not growing within yourself or you're not understanding that it's coming from you, like you can bring in inspiration from elsewhere, but if you're not solely like putting you out there, you're not going to be able to just keep growing or keep networking authentically. And I think that's something that might intimidate people or slow people down because we always want to put out the best version of ourselves. But the primary reason that we are artists is that we are able to self-express artistically, uniquely to us. And so don't be afraid. I would just say don't be afraid or hesitant to put yourself out there, because that's essentially your goal, is for people to buy into you, not to buy into your talents or what you learned last week or what you learned a year ago or where you went to college. It's you and the way you express yourself.
That is a very good point. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
I'll add one more thing. I'll piggyback off of what Sarah said. Networking. You have to network and you have to have a team to get stuff done, which was basically shown with this video. Like we were basically a team, all of us, and we got it done. The bigger the team is, the more solid the team is. You need teamwork to excel.
That's very true. All right. Well, I really appreciate you both coming on our first episode of Alumni Live. It's been a lot of fun and I learned a lot. So
thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, and good luck with your future projects.
Appreciate it. Stay tuned for the six-pack.
Oh, do you want to tell us about that in a minute?
Six-pack, Assorted Six-Pack. That's the album that it's done. I'm dropping Depression is the next single. Go watch Citizen on YouTube. Go download Citizen on every platform, every major platform. We have the Citizen in Grand Rapids, Michigan t-shirts available on grcitizen.com. Follow Sarah, follow all the artists, follow Year 85, follow Michele Terpstra just follow everybody and let's keep networking.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Alumni Live, the podcast. Subscribe to our podcast to hear more from our alumni across the industry. Check out Alumni Live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more conversations and networking. Let us know what topics you want to hear our alumni talk about. The Grand Valley State University Film Video Alumni Network is here for you, and we're glad that you're here. Thank you for listening.